Good morning to everyone. And Your Excellency, Minister Kouroublis, but I guess he has left already. Mr. Hadjitakis, President Benyamis, Mr. Yevnidis, Mr. Pateras, all good ambassadors, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really honored to speak here this morning on maritime and shipping issues with a large part of the Greek shipping industry present. And this because maritime issues and the shipping industry have to a large extent defined the relationship between Greece and Norway throughout history and tied our countries close together. Our two countries have been shipping superpowers for centuries, I think it's fair to say that. And in Norway, we take pride in our Vikings who sailed and traded internationally more than 1,000 years ago. But this, I'm afraid, fades completely against your proud maritime history, which dates another 1,000 years back.
What you're doing in the north, we're doing in the south.
Long coastlines, islands, and marine resources have shaped both the way we live and the global outlook we have. And the strength of the maritime sector in my country is largely a result of Norwegian companies working alongside partners within a globalized environment. And the Greek shipping industry is among our most important partners. I would take this opportunity to express recognition to the many of you who have taken part in our bilateral maritime relationships over the years. And the sun should not go down, you know.
Light up, there's no power.
Definitely it should rise. We see Greece as an important ocean partner also for the future. And because our strengths are complementary, Greek owners operate the world's largest fleet consisting of modern and technologically well-developed vessels. And the Norwegian maritime cluster has the competence for making shipping safer, more energy efficient, and technologically even more advanced. A considerable portion of future growth in the maritime industry is expected to take place in the shipping sector. But if you look into other areas, such as the sector of aquaculture and ocean energy, we find huge potential for cooperation that is largely unexplored. But I can assure every one of you here today that maritime prospects will be even more important when we look into the future. The ocean space is emerging as one of the largest and most promising global resource bases, offering vast business opportunities for a whole range of ocean industries. Key resources will continue to come from the oceans, and shipping should remain the most cost-effective and environmentally mode of long-distance transport. In this context, I would like to mention the recent report by the OECD, The Ocean Economy Toward 2030, which concludes that the ocean economy has the potential of doubling its contribution to the global value creation by 2030. So on this background, the Norwegian government has decided to make the maritime sector and our ocean strategy a key priority for both domestic and foreign policies. In this strategy, we set out some policy initiatives for the most important ocean industries, such as offshore, oil and gas, seafood, and maritime industry. And in the following, I will elaborate as brief as I can on what this strategy means and what kind of implications this will have for the shipping sector. So please let me present some of these policy measures to better explain the Norwegian thinking. First of all, Norway will apply a holistic perspective on how to meet new opportunities and challenges that the ocean space is providing. The Norwegian economy has for too long been too dependent on the offshore oil and gas activity. And now the time has arrived for diversification. We must look for potentials for future growth, not only in traditional, but also in new and emerging maritime industries. This requires new and adaptive business models, be it for ship owners, petroleum, energy, or seafood companies, as well as for banks, investors, or maritime quality assurance. Economic success of innovations and new technology depends on understanding the market and choosing the right business model. And that is why Norwegian maritime industry is looking into areas such as green shipping, including LNG ships, electrified battery ferries, as well as unmanned maritime vehicles. In offshore renewable energy, new concepts have been developed, such as wind farms and tide and wave energy, and business initiatives on ocean biotech, ocean cleanup, and ocean mining is also picking up. Second, technological innovation is key in order to meet requirements, opportunities, and to respond to international competition. Together with maritime enterprises, industry organizations, universities, and research institutions, the Norwegian government promotes, facilitates, and co-fund several maritime innovation clusters. These clusters comprise the shipping industry, maritime energy, offshore oil and gas exploration, and aquaculture. And by the assistance from these innovation clusters, Norway can more easily adapt to a changing business environment and remain competitive in the global market. For the shipping industry, these R&D programs include areas like LNG bunkering, zero-emission vessels, autonomous container ships, digitalization in shipping activities, marine cybersecurity, and robotization. The strategy of bringing together various institutional competencies from the society at large has proven successful, and I can assure, created an innovative and result-oriented dynamic. Third, Norwegian authorities will continue its policy of no micromanagement of the shipping sector. We see no use of unduly interference, but there has to be a forward-looking governmental engagement, and national policy is key. And any framework to be developed must build on a true partnership between authorities and the industry itself. The advice from the industry has to be taken seriously into account. And we know that such advice is rooted in solid expertise. So far, our government has secured the Norwegian maritime sector and the shipping industry with a competitive regulatory framework. And this has been crafted in close cooperation with the industry itself. Our government will develop this framework even further by setting out even more ambitious recommendations or guidelines for how the authorities can assist and facilitate the industry in the best possible way. Fourth, it is a priority for any Norwegian government to safeguard Norwegian maritime competencies and encourage more ships to sail under the Norwegian flag. And the policy framework for the shipping business, the Norwegian International Ship Register, is particularly designed to ensure that we have Norwegian crew and the broadest and most relevant maritime competence for the future. One measure taken is the tax refund scheme for seafarers. This is the most important tool we have to safeguard maritime competence in Norway. The government has made some updated change to this program and strengthened it by more than 100 million Norwegian kroner recently. Just as important is, of course, the modernization of naval education programs. This is also strongly prioritized. Combined, this has given results. After a marked decrease in the number of seafarers through the past decades, the trend has been reversed, and we can now see growth in numbers. At the same time, measures have been taken to improve the situation of Norwegian shipyards. This includes more resources allocated to the development of advanced technology from Norwegian suppliers, and more resources and maintenance and general upgrading of the plants. The third measure is the special taxation arrangement for shipping companies, the tonnage tax system. I know that you know this pretty well, because this is based on the net tonnage of the relevant vessel. And this is a final tax, and the company's income can be distributed to shareholders without any further taxation. On the other side, in order to be part of this Norwegian International Ship Register and take part of its benefits and services, the vessels concerned has to meet highly acceptable safety and working standards. And these rules are based on Norway's commitment to IMO's and the ILO's conventions. But ship owners are also strongly encouraged to contribute financially to the maritime technological clusters, as previously mentioned. Fifth policy measure, the green shift has eventually reached the shipping industry, and will, I believe, give the countries that embrace it a comparative advantage. It also, shipping has already become a key area for growth in Norway, and it also stands out as a most exciting new area for business opportunities. We want to develop and see more environmentally sound technical solutions and fuel on ships. And with this objective, Norway is providing substantial funding through the national budget for ship owners, shipyards, and suppliers to make ship and ferries environmentally friendly. We are investing in LNG-fueled vessels and electric ferries, and our first electric ferry has already transported cars and people on the Norwegian fjords. And I know with interest that very important position Greek vessels have in the LNG-based transport. And the plan for the Paris port as a hub for LNG bunkering is also very interesting. Here we see considerable scope for a strengthened bilateral cooperation. At this point, I would also like to inform you that Norway's financial fund for Greece, the EEA Norway grant, will, for the coming program period up to 2021, allocate a substantial amount to green energy in a maritime context. And our business and innovation program will support the blue growth, and Norwegian and Greek companies are strongly encouraged to team up and work together. At sixth point, we need to develop an international ocean governance regime to regulate the exploration and utilization of ocean resources worldwide. It is paramount that the marine ecology remains sustainable when, at the same time, ocean industries are encouraged to operate at a larger scale. The role of the ocean in the broader strategy framework of resource management and global climate protection is key. Economic growth must go hand in hand with sustainability. And to assist in this endeavor, Norway's Prime Minister Solberg announced on the 25th of January at the World Economic Forum in Davos that she would organize and establish an international high-level panel on building a sustainable ocean economy. The panel will consist of heads of governments from a select group of coastal countries around the world, both developed and developing countries, and its objective is to increase international understanding of how ocean economy and the sustainable use of ocean can play a key role in meeting the world's most vital needs. Seventh and last, related to the previous topic, the international efforts of combating pollution and garbage in the oceans is coming to the forefront. This is an urgent matter. Government has to take a leading role internationally to fight marine pollution and move ahead with national initiatives that matters. To meet this challenge, the Norwegian government has decided to establish an oil spill preparedness and environmental center on the Lofoten Islands, an archipelago on the northwestern coast of Norway. This to promote knowledge about oil spill protection and plastic pollution. And we have already had discussions on the issue of pollution reduction in Greece, and we stand ready to work with both authorities and professionals who might be committed to this ambition. To conclude, the maritime industry is global in nature. Its well-being is dependent on open markets and stable, predictable conditions. We all know that. And we should all contribute to improve the framework conditions and the highest standards as regards maritime security, environmental sustainability, and working conditions. Norway believes that a strategic partnership between the industry and the authorities is key to ensure a competitive and prosperous industry that is also compatible with safeguarding the marine environment. The industry knows well about the needs for new technologies, new products, services, and business models, and the authorities should support and facilitate, but also look into the broader picture of what an increased utilization of the ocean space actually entails. For this, we also need a global policy platform to discuss and learn, and the UN Global Compact on Oceans, a business action platform to be launched in New York in June this year, can well serve as such a platform. It rests on the assumption that the industry itself must be part of the global effort to strengthen governance and to improve the standards for how we do business. And the new head of this platform is the Norwegian Sturla Henriksen, the previous CEO of the Norwegian Ship Owners Association. Mr. Henriksen's last stop before the launch in New York will be here in Greece, at one of the most important shipping conferences in the world, namely Posidonia. So I'm really looking forward to that event, because we are all now standing at the threshold of the century of the sea. So thank you for the attention and for the invitation, and I'm sure this will be a very successful conference.